Okay, the next type of question is for exponential decay. It's pretty much the same type of function. I have it here, but in this case, get rid of that. We're going to, instead of having a number here that represents how much we grow by, a factor that we grow by, we're now going to decrease by a factor of something. So instead of grow at a factor of what? 3. We're going to decrease at a factor of, by a factor of 3. Every unit of time. So everything's set up the same, only this time I have to put parentheses here and put a fraction. If I'm decreasing by a factor of 3, that means I'm multiplying by a third over and over again. So I keep cutting my population as time goes by dividing. So I'm using a fraction now. So a question in this case, you start with, in this case, 170815 things, which decrease which lose 2/3 of themselves by a factor of 3 every 2, let's say years in this case. What is there after t years? That's sort of what the first question is asking. So in this case, we're going to say that a population, oops, let me make that black, is equal to my starting amount, 170,815 times, I need a fraction. In this case, it's going to be, we're going to lose a third, or we're going to cut down by to a third. Every time 2 units of time has passed. So 2 goes on the bottom. So when I first want to know as a function, I'm going to leave this time as a variable, and I'm going to put in a t. And that's exactly what they want. 170,815 times a third to the t over 2. That's your function. You just plug into this thing now. Where instead of putting a 3 when you grow by a factor of 3, if you decrease by a factor of 3, you make this a third. And you got to use parentheses. All right, so they want to know in 7 years after the year 2000. So instead of t here, we're going to put a 7. So that 1/3 raised to the 3.5. So I'm going to once again pull up the old calculator, and I'm going to say, okay, what is I'm going to use parentheses for this, 1/3 raised to the parentheses again, 7/2, close parentheses. That is my number times the starting amount, 170815. What is that? It is 3,652. We're going to round down because we're talking about a population of things like books or rabbits. So yeah, 3,652. So it works the same way, only this time if you decrease by a factor of 3, you just make this a fraction. Otherwise, it's just like the other questions with growth, but this is how you handle decay.